This is Chris, the Idaho Painter, here on Paint Live TV. Today I got a really cool video, and this is a fireplace makeover. I got a fireplace right here. This was a travertine fireplace. I've already added a white bonding primer to it, and now we're going to do the process of adding a Venetian plaster from Boero Coatings, and then 3 metallic colors, metallic paints from Boero Coatings, and this thing is going to look absolutely amazing. So stay tuned for this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the little notification bell next to that, because it doesn't mean anything if you subscribe and you don't hit the notification bell. All it does is allow you to get notified every time I come out with a new video. It's simple, free, easy to do, but let's get on with the fireplace makeover now. There we go, bam. All right, so we're gonna get started with this fireplace makeover. What I'm gonna be doing with this fireplace, I'm gonna take these big tiles right here. These were travertine tiles. I already added a bonding primer to it. I just painted it, brushed it on with a brush, simple little brush I use, a 2.5-inch angle sash brush. And the reason why I did a bonding primer, I want this stuff to adhere really well, but we did have a hearth down here that you can actually walk on. There's dogs in this house, so they could be walking on that, so we want a really good bond. So we just brushed on the bonding primer the previous day. It's dry, it's on there, really good, ready to go. I've got 3 metallic paints right here, 3 different colors. This stripe right here, we're gonna be doing different colors on this. It's gonna look really cool. I'm gonna be brushing those metallic coatings on, and then on this decorative band right here too. The big tiles right here, we're gonna be troweling a Venetian plaster on these. I'm gonna be using 1 or possibly 2 trowels on this job. I've got 2 flex trowels from Boero right here. I'm probably using this little flex trowel because I want to be able to do a Venetian plaster. I'm going to be using a brush to work the product, the Venetian plaster, in the grout. So I got a brush here available. I might need a sponge, a wet sponge at some point in time to be doing stuff, but got all my tools ready to go. Got a drop cloth down on the carpet. I'm gonna need a ladder to get up high on this. We had this TV sets up here, so we removed the TV. Wires are taped to the wall with frog tape. That way it won't pull off any paint on the wall. But we're ready to get going. The first step of this process is I'm gonna be doing my Venetian plaster on all the large stone right now. The color is gonna be Gauntlet Gray. So I chose Gauntlet Gray because I wanted something dark to go with the black fireplaces. I didn't want this square right here to stand out really bad. And then the metallic coatings are going to go really well with the brushed nickel, or the brush polish or brushed nickel accents on the fireplace right here. So Gauntlet Gray, Venetian plaster. It's a water-based Venetian plaster. It's not a lime-based product. It's a water-based acrylic product. So here we go. Let's get started with this project. So I'm going to start off just by putting some frog tape around my edges here, because I don't want to get anything on the painted surface here. Frog tape is a really good product because it's got a 21-day release. So if this did take multiple days to do, I don't have to worry about the tape splintering or taking the paint off anything. So I like using tape that gives me, more time to work with. So I'm going to start at the top first. I like to pull out my Venetian plaster with like a 4 or 6-inch putty knife, just like this right here. So now I'm going to start working on these individual tiles right here. And one thing, I got these grout lines. I don't want to fill these grout lines in. I want them to still look like grout lines. So I'm just going to brush, taking some of the stuff in. So I want to get that color in there, but I don't want to fill it in. So I'm going to brush it in there, and then we'll work on this tile individually. So I'll get that down in there because I want the grout line to look gray. So there we go, we'll brush it. So now I'm on to my second coat of my Venetian plaster. I've already done these 4 tiles, and you might be able to see some of the depth coming out of it, and the multicolors is starting to look really cool. The second coat is just skimming over what I created on my first coat with my plaster. So this is going to dry a lot faster than the previous coat because it's a lot thinner. It's just filling in the voids. One thing I do is I clean my trowels a lot. You start to get some dry Venetian plaster on these edges and stuff, and I just take and clean them continuously. I don't want to get a lot of buildup on the plaster on my trowels, so I'm going to just take and clean these off and start fresh again. So now we're waiting for some of the other Venetian plaster to dry. Down here at the bottom is still not dry, top is still wet, so I'm going to start messing around with my metallic finishes. So I got a color here. This is the color Griffin, and I'm going to be doing all these middle squares in this color Griffin right here. So I'm using a really soft bristle brush, and I'm just going to hand do each one of these little squares. These are going to be one color, these will be another color, and then these are going to be another color. So look really cool here. I'm just going to be kind of randomly brushing these strokes on too to give it that metallic look after I start getting it on there, just kind of randomly. You don't want to do the brush strokes all in one direction because it won't give you that real metallic effect. Okay, now I'm working on, I got the two colors on my decorative tiles done. I got the one, the triangle's done, the square's done. Now I'm working on these long little tiles, decorative tiles here. But I'm using, I found a brush that's perfect for these little tiles. This is a Stallmeister brush right here, and it's working out really nicely to do these tiles. This is a really high-end, expensive brush from Stallmeister, and it's very precise. The bristles are cut absolutely perfectly straight, so it's making it really easy to do these tiles. So I got to my second coat of Venetian plaster on the bottom, got a third coat on this. I'll probably put another coat on that, but while that's all drying, I only got a single coat up top. Don't want any downtime, so I'm just working on doing these little tiles here, and I'm just using a little tiny artist brush, using the Griffin to do these little tiles. So it's just a little tiny brush, and I'm just hand doing each one of these. The top is all done. The top band up there is done. Looks really amazing. Probably like maybe 3 hours into this fireplace now. I've already done the gold around the band there. I'll do that gold around that band, and then we're doing the other color which matches this color. We're going to be doing that on those larger tiles right there. This is just a great way to, you offer your clients a fireplace makeover, at half the cost of what it would cost to tear this thing out, and then of course your house is going to be a construction zone with everything being torn up and dust everywhere, and so this is just that nice clean option of doing it without tearing everything up. So now I'm on the second day, and I'm here. I've got doing my final coat on my Venetian plaster. I've got 3 coats on most of it, 4 coats on some of it. I'm going to be doing the top, finishing up the top. Then I've got the rest of my metallic band I got to finish, and then we're going to be doing the polishing and burnishing steps, which is going to come here shortly. So we're cruising right along, getting this project done. So we got all the metallic finish done. So everything's done, but the burnishing and polishing now. I'm going to take and pull this off to see how it looks with the fireplace. There we go. Some of the things with the trowels, I did start off, and originally I got to my trowels. Originally I was going to just do the fireplace with this trowel, and I think I talked about it in the beginning, but I ended up using a bunch of trowels. I ended up using this one to do like the edge banding, but this one ended up being a little bit too little and a little bit too stiff for the large areas. So then I started applying it with a larger flex trowel. So I used the flex trowel for my first coat, and then after I got my first coat done, I started applying it with a Venetian trowel, which that Venetian trowel, so I started doing the Venetian trowel after my first coat. And originally I thought it was going to be too big, but it ended up working out really well. So having, multiple trowels is not a bad thing. There's the opportunity to be able to try different trowels. If I was limited, I could have just ended up doing it. I think if I had just one trowel to do the entire thing, I probably would have wanted just this Browero Flex trowel right here. This is about a 6-inch trowel. Okay, the Venetian plaster is all dry. Metallic finish is all dry. We're gonna start the polishing and then compressing process. So I've got, it's all ready to go, 3 to 4 coats on. Gonna be using a Festool sander, battery operated sander. I've got a 2000 grit on here right now. I'm gonna start 2000, go to 3000. In the corners, I'll be using just a block like this to get into the corners where the orbital won't work. It's a lot faster just using a power sander. So I'm gonna sand it, and then after it's all sanded, I'll compress it with my finishing compression trowel. So there you have it. The project is all done and complete. It absolutely looks amazing. I'm pretty happy with it. If I could give you any advice, these Browero Venetian plaster and metallic coatings are very easy and very forgiving to use, and you can use all kinds of tools to apply them with, and just be patient and just let your imagination go. You can just create anything. One of the really cool things about these products is if you go down to the tile store, you're very limited on the tiles that you have to select. These coatings can be tinted to anything, so I can just match anything in this house. And we chose colors that go with this decor, and it looks absolutely amazing. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, because it doesn't do anything if you subscribe and don't hit the little bell. That way you get notified every time we come out with a new video. It's free, easy to do. Hit it, slam it, bang it, do whatever you gotta do. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. We got some really cool short tips, tricks, and hacks for you. We'll see you on our next video. Out.